Shooting is now legal worldwide. I walk into Balenci, make them wipe me down.
So, this is the pre-final version of the destructible oxygen tanks. They now have an updated particle system, which changes depending on how they were damaged. If a tank was damaged by impact damage, or anything which isn't really fiery in nature, the tank just shoots out a cloud of concentrated oxygen. But if a tank was shot at by a rifle, or damaged by an explosive, you'll see the oxygen shooting out of the tank actually catch fire, which also increases the velocity of the tank. Now, if a tank takes enough damage, it will eventually shatter and break apart. So, if the oxygen tank is just slightly ruptured by a small amount of damage, it's likely that it will launch away and probably remain intact, even if it hits a wall. Now, if the initial damage is very high by being shot at by a sniper rifle, or the tank hits a wall at a very high velocity, and still has oxygen within it, it can actually blow up. So if it isn't ignited, you get a non-fiery explosion, with lots of force and knockback. But if it has ignited, you get a less forceful but more damaging explosion which burns surfaces and also leaves behind a small fire. Another thing that you'll be able to do with oxygen tanks is increase the speed and intensity at which fires burn by saturating the environment with oxygen. Now I haven't added this yet, but this could be fun and also pretty simple to add, so work on it. You have an actor made up out of a volume that can be traced for by other actors. So, if a fire is spawned, the fire checks collisions against any chemical gas volumes, and then, if it detects any, modifies itself based on the chemical compound and the density. In the case of oxygen, that could mean that it burns and spreads twice as quickly, whereas with nitrogen, from a nitrogen tank, you could have the opposite effect. You could even take it a step further and make it so that the fire actually consumes oxygen volumes and spawns carbon dioxide volumes. And then use the remaining oxygen by setting things on fire. But because they have good AI, they start running to the oxygen mask supply, not aware of the fact that you switched out their breathable air canisters with helium air canisters, so now they have goofy high-pitched voices. Or alternatively, you use the hydrogen-oxygen mixture, and now they have even squeakier voices, but also spontaneously combust when too close to a fire. So why am I adding all of this stuff? Well, first, it's because it's supposed to be a Hideo Kojima game, so it has to have random details. But to be honest, it's actually because the current human skeleton I'm using within my game is missing a weapon bone. So I can't really work on more new, unique weapon animations, which was my actual focus for some time now. My attempts to export the model from UE4 into Blender and add the bone to the skeleton and then re-import that skeleton into UE4 have catastrophically failed. So knowing that the alternative solution is to literally retarget and or remake all animations for every human in my game, I thought I might as well work on some other stuff. And that stuff are these tanks filled with chemicals. Just so you know though, I am still committed to my original vision, and I am going to make this Metal Gear game, and it's going to be more Metal Gear than the previous entries. To that end, I even recently bought myself 80 euros worth of military surplus, just so I could dress up as Venom Snake and really get into how his mind functions, and make a game that he would enjoy. Also, I crudely remade the Skibidi Toilet Male 7 3D model yesterday in Blender, so I can put it in a mobile game and asset flip my game into it, so I can buy myself more military surplus. Also, another news, Konami has put Metal Gear Solid 6 on Steam.
We'll visit Cuba in the next few days. Your mission has a single objective: to assassinate the Japanese developer.
Japanese developer? What Japanese developer?
I might do a Let's Play. Goodbye.